Tagazani, welcome to Learning with Noma. My name is Noma, Gogo Noma for most, and this is Learning with Noma, your online comprehensive classroom where we are changing our lives one lesson at a time. And in today's lesson, I am answering a question. Many people have been asking me, Gogo, when is the right time to Pahla? So if you have not yet subscribed, click the subscribe button. If you like the content in the lesson, click the like button, give me a thumbs up, and do not forget to share. In this classroom, a lesson learned is a lesson that should be shared. Okay, today's question. So let me answer that. So Gogo, when is the right time to Pahla? Let me start by saying this. Let me define Ukuphahla. And please do remember that everything that is shared in the classroom is from my own space, from my own practice, from my own journey with my spiritual guides, because spirituality is about you having your own experience with God. It's about you having your own experience with the universe, with nature. When we talk about religion, it's actually someone else's experience. So when we are in spirituality, we do not exclude, but we include everything. We are inclusive, and we are non-judgmental, so we don't dismiss and we don't disregard. So everything that I'm sharing with you in this lesson is from my own space, my own experiences, and you take what resonates with you, and what doesn't, you just put it aside for the next person. My name is Gogo Noma, and let me answer the question, Gogo, when do we Pahla, or when is it the right time to Pahla? Firstly, Pahla, for me, a simple definition will be communicating with your ancestors. And when should I talk to my ancestors? If I direct, I take the question and say, when is it the right time to communicate with my ancestors? For me, all day, every day, all the time. When I wake up, when I get out of bed, and waking up, I mean when I open my eyes, when I get out of bed, on my way to an appointment, on my way to do shopping, I always communicate with my entourage, and I call them an entourage because there's a lot of them. I've got my grandfathers, my great-grandfathers, my great-grandmothers, my grandmothers. I've got a lot of them around me, and each coming at a right time to serve a direct purpose in my life. Is the same as the question of who is God, or who is God to you, Gogo. And I always say that the way I define God and who God is to me might not be who God is to you, because we know He is, and I'm going to say He is because we grew up in this religion that taught us that it's a male figure, and our tongue has got used to it. But God is like, God is genderless. God is within me. God is not outside of me. So I don't need to be at church in order for me to communicate with God. Same as abantu abadala or ancestors. I don't need to be in a specific space called umsamo for me to be able to communicate with my ancestors. So for Gogo Noma, you communicate with your ancestors anywhere, anytime, every day, all day, about anything at any given point. But now let's come to the formal part of it. And now the reason why I say the formal part of it is because then we're going to talk about the umsamo, the church in religion. Being in that space where you are told you need to dress in a certain way, you need to behave in a certain way, you need to speak in a certain way, loud, soft, whatever that the rules that are in that space may be. But when we communicate with our ancestors on a daily basis, and when you communicate in the way that I've just explained, you don't need to have, there are no rules. You do what is working for you and your ancestors. So you communicate with them at any time when you wake up. And this can be just to say, thank you, Abogogo Nabumkhulu, I am here, I'm awake. As I get out of this bed, can I be careful? Can the ground hold me? And in that same space, you're able to say, thank you, God, I'm awake. And you're able to start your day keeping God first and talking to your ancestors first, inviting the entourage into your space. Now, when we are going to the formal, and I'm going to say formal because there's so many rules attached to it. For me, anything that has rigid rules of one being told you can do this and you cannot do that, it's sort of like a formal setting. When we talk about umsamo, let me again come back to the definition of umsamo so that we understand it. Umsamo, when you define it, it's a family tree direct translation in English for what I'm going to say, and then it can be a shrine when we talk about the physical umsamo. But umsamo as a family tree, it is about you as a person. So you are carrying your parents' DNA, who also gave to you your grandparents' DNA, who then gave to them your great-grandparents' DNA. So you're like a family tree that needs to, you are this leaf that needs to find out where exactly do I come from in Imvelaphi yakho. Your ancestors are in you. The blood that flows through you, the DNA that is making up you, is your ancestors. And hence I say you don't need a certain space or a certain whatever to talk to your ancestors. You can communicate with them. And in my space, I'm also having a direction of my ancestors saying to me, stop saying that you are connecting people to their ancestors, but remind them that they are always connected to their ancestors. You are just helping them to align with their ancestors. Because we move away from the alignment, and then we need to come back to alignment with our ancestors, but forever connected. They are always there. In religion, in church, we say, that's the same concept that comes to our ancestors. They are always there. They're just waiting for us to say, yes, come in, we are inviting you. Hence we do the physical umsamo, the shrine, where you are now saying, this is the space where I am inviting my ancestors into my space, and I'm saying to them, every time I come here, I am here to communicate with you. And even there, the rules that you do are your own, and whatever resonates with you and your spirit guides is what is going to work. Everything else that we teach, it is based on tradition. It is based on culture, but at the end of the day, when we talk about spirituality, we have to be rooted somewhere, because if you are not rooted, then you are lost. That is umsamo. You need to know where you come from, imvelaphi yakho otwakai. But that does not mean everything that I say as Gogo Noma, where I am rooted, is going to be where you are rooted. So the physical umsamo that we do, the shrine, where you are told you're going to need impepo, a candle, water, snuff, tobacco, whatever that you're going to need in order to communicate with your ancestors, where you're going to put the tools, the physical tools that are going to help you communicate with your ancestors, and where you are going to make the space. That is then the physical umsamo. So when we talk about going to Pahla in those spaces, that is where you will have the rules. If, for an example, you are a Zulu, you will be told about Indlu Gogo. That will be at home. And if your family is following tradition, you will also be told that as Unoma, if my parents are still alive, both of them are still alive, I cannot Pahla for myself. I need to go to my parents and they Pahla on my behalf. Only when I no longer have parents can I Pahla, and that is tradition. But again, we look at today, the religious adaptation and the lifestyle that we are leading, where our parents are not even connected to tradition, and we are a generation that is crying out and seeking to go back to our roots. Then you need to adapt. We need to adapt, and you need to understand, I can have my sacred space, because that is what umsamo is. It's a shrine, it's a sacred space, it's an altar, it's where you meet with your ancestors. It's where you house the spirits that are your entourage, that are walking with you, and you are saying, this is our boardroom, this is where we meet, this is a space where me and you talk. I come here with respect, and I not only come here to talk, but I come here to also listen. It's a communication, it's a two-way street. But I also need to have that time when I actually go in there to say, I'm just quiet in silence, and we call it meditation. So wadula wamamela, what are they saying? What is spirit saying? In silence, there can be so much that you can hear from spirit. And that is the space then where you can say, I'll go there at 3 a.m. in the morning. And when you go there at 3 a.m. in the morning, most of the time you're not going there to talk. Because for me, personally, I'm not going there to talk around that time. I talk to them all day, every day. But at 3 a.m. in the morning, when I wake up, and understand, when I say 3 a.m., it's not specific to say 3 a.m. No, it can be 2:30, it can be 1:30, whenever spirit wakes me up, because I don't set an alarm to wake up at those times. But I believe that spirit will wake me up if there's a message that I need to be awake for, that I need to sit and listen to. Ancestors communicate in many, many ways, in many channels. So if I set an alarm at 3 o'clock and a dream was coming and it's Umkulo Gogo that wanted to talk to me through a dream, I've disturbed that message and I'm going to sit there and there's nothing that's going to come, because actually the channel that was supposed to be used was the one in my sleep. So that's why for me, when you say, what time do I Phahla Gogo? I Phahla all day, every day, all the time. I communicate with my ancestors all day, every day, all the time. And around those spaces when the physical world is quiet, even the mind is quiet. When I wake up first thing and I look at the time and it's 1:30 or it's still dark, but I feel that I am awake. Many a times I go and I light my candle and I sit there and I don't even time myself to say I'm going to sit here for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. No, I just sit and I close my eyes if I need to close my eyes. I open my eyes and look at the candle light because it's in the dark. If I need to look at the candle light, whatever that I feel like doing in that moment, that is exactly what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to listen to the voice of my ancestors, whether it comes through me hearing them talk or through a vision, through the feeling their presence around me. Whatever channel they want to use, I am just going to be a vessel and allow it to be used. And then I am able to listen and to hear what they're saying, because the physical world is quiet during that time. Just after midnight, people are sleeping, and most of the time 3 o'clock is a desired time, because even those who are doing night duty, you can ask any person who has ever been on night duty, be it a nurse, a security guard, 3 o'clock is the time, even when you were awake and you were okay. But around that time you start to feel sleep coming and you're drowsy and your eyes are heavy and you want to sleep if you have not slept the whole night because you're on night duty. It's usually called the ghost time, to say, Roberts. But it's because it is time when spirit is heavy on us. The physical being is asleep. It's not functioning. The mind is shut down. The conscious mind is shut down, and the unconscious mind is active and is awake. We will talk about the sleep states in one of the videos to follow. Understanding how we actually fall asleep and how the brains function in the medical world or in a scientific way. So I don't have a specific time to Phahla, basically. I Phahla with intention and with purpose. Should I finish teaching this lesson and I feel like there's something I need to communicate with my ancestors in my sacred space, I'm going to go to my shrine and I will go and kneel down and what are the rules when you go to your shrine? I cannot make the rules for you. You need to communicate with your ancestors and form a relationship and understand what rules they need from you. I can tell you that you need to go to your shrine with a head wrap, something on your shoulders, long dress. And you go there and your ancestors are like, stop performing for us. We don't need you to come here like this. We need you to come as yourself. We need you to express yourself. We need you to come without any of these things. They're too formal for us. Or you come here dressed up in the physical, but what about inside? Because when you come to the shrine, when you come to Msamo, it's more about what's inside here. I can come with my pajamas and with my mascaras and my makeup all messed up because I'm feeling... I've just had a breakup and, I've just lost my job. I'm broken. And I come as broken as I am to the shrine, and my ancestors will accept me. Unlike when I come and I've got my high heels and I'm dressed up and I leave my heels at the door, I've got my makeup on, I'm broken inside, but I'm here and I'm trying to say, I just want to... No. They are seeing what's inside of me, and then they're going to look and say, child, stop wasting our time. And that is me. In my private space with my ancestors. If I am broken, I come as broken as I am. If I'm happy, sometimes I just come to the shrine because I'm happy. I'm like, hey, here is tea. I just made some tea. I've got 2 cups of tea. Mine and one for you guys. I'm just going to put it down there. Thank you so much. I was just reading this chapter as I'm preparing for my exams, and yay. Did everything not just go in like I was just rebooted? Everything that I studied was just coming in. I didn't have to repeat nothing. And even as I revised, I was like, yeah, it's in. I'm excited. I just go there to say thank you, for gratitude, for me, say I'm excited. So in short and in summary, Gogo, when do I Phahla? When do I communicate to my ancestors? All day, every day, all the time. The specific times that we have set out for us, it's because of what is happening with the energy around us. When you look at 3 o'clock in the morning, between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, the physical world is asleep and it's quiet, and that is a good time for you to actually not, I'll say, communicate, but to listen. At 12 o'clock, if I wake up at 12 o'clock, anytime, from 11 o'clock until 2 o'clock for me, if I wake up during those times, I usually pray, I talk to divinity. And again, like I'm saying, that is me. I talk to divinity, I talk to God. If I wake up anytime after 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I sit there and I meditate. Because for me, 6 o'clock all round until 12 o'clock midnight, from 6 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock midnight, that is enough time for me to communicate with my ancestors. And when I say communicate, it means for me to talk to my ancestors, to tell them what is happening in my life, to tell them this and to tell them that, and to tell them this and to tell them that. But around that time, unless I specifically need to Phahla with someone at 3 o'clock, unless I specifically need to Phahla for something, and the direction from the ancestors is talk to us at 3 o'clock or come to us during those morning times, I always wake up and I listen to my body. And listening to my body is listening to my spirit. To say, when I get out of bed, what am I going to do? Sometimes I wake up and I don't even get out of bed. Right there where I am, I speak to them. If I do not have the strength to get out of bed, that does not mean that I do not have the strength to talk. I still talk to them. I talk to them in my bed. The important thing about understanding umsamo, the shrine, the altar, and going there is that you go with respect. And respect is not you dressing up in a certain way. For Gogo Noma, respect is you coming to your ancestors and being naked, being truthful. Naked is being truthful, being honest, not going there to waste time or to play. You cannot go Ukuphahla somewhere every single day, for an example, let me say, if you do not really know why you are there. Hence, I say I speak to my ancestors every day, all day. In the morning, sometimes I feel like I'm just going to have a quick shower. It's fine. I'm going to have a quick shower because I need that waterfall sort of setting to cleanse myself. And as the water goes down, I'm cleansing. I'm happy. Thank you, water. You are life. You're a cleanser in my life. But other times I feel that I need to soak myself in a bath and to put iswasho. I need to do whatever. And as I'm sitting in that bath, I'm communicating with my ancestors. That is Ukuphahla for me in that moment. I am talking to my ancestors. Communicating with your ancestors should not be a rigid prescription. Spirit is not directive. Spirit is not prescriptive. Spirit is about you knowing where you are rooted and respecting those roots. If you're a Zulu and you know Uguti, like I said, guys, I cannot go. I was raised with understanding that I cannot go in Ukuphahla wearing my trousers or wearing a short skirt. Then respect that. If you know that Mosotho and Nanto Eyalona Yamazulu about Mosamo, I don't even know Mosamo and Nekitsibali Nterobala, Kitsibali Panti Kantle, then go and Phahla Koli Panting. If you do not understand Impepo, it does not resonate with you. I don't use Impepo every single day. A week can end without me using Impepo. But I cannot go a day without lighting an incense. I need to have my incense stick. That is my air element. Do what resonates with you. Phahla and communicate with your ancestors every day, all day. Respect your ancestors. Come into your shrine, your altar. Build it as they will guide you to build it. Remember where you come from and what you were taught growing up. Do not take my culture and make it yours. Do what works for you. Respect your ancestors in that way and respect yourself in that way. I hope that you have found the information in this video helpful, and I hope that you will be able to experience your own spirituality rooted respectfully and understanding that you always go with what resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, I'm not a traditionalist. I didn't grow up in a family where you were told that as a woman, this is how you need to behave, as a man, this is how you need to behave. I was taught how to behave as a human being, how to respect the next person, not because they are male or female, but because they deserve respect. Not because you're older or younger, but because you deserve respect. Respect is not something that you just pick from a tree. Respect is earned. In the olden days, no matter whether you are old or you are young, if we meet each other in the street, we would always greet each other. If an elder passes by the yard and there's a young child sitting in the yard, they would greet that child because they were showing them, they were leading by example, they were showing them how they expect them to behave. So respect yourself, respect your elders, respect your ancestors, communicate to them all day, every day. Do not come with rehearsed performances. Do not go to them if you really do not have the time or the space, or you do not have the energy, or there is no clear intention of why you want to come to your sacred space, why you want to come to the altar. You need to come to the altar with intention. You need to come to the altar with understanding, because the energies that you bring there are the energies that you're going to receive back. Communicate with your ancestors all day, every day. And those specific times, see how best they work for you. Some people are good at meditating at 9 o'clock at night. Others at 10 o'clock. Others are good at meditating at 7 o'clock or Pahla at 7 o'clock. That is a convenient time for you. Maybe at 6 o'clock, because you come back from work at 4 o'clock, and at 6 you've just finished cooking, everybody's still on their way coming back from work, and you're able to communicate with your ancestors in quiet and in peace then. Others, it can be 10 in the morning, once you have left the kids at school and your husband has gone to work and you're alone in the house and you've got that moment. See what fits in your life and see what works for you, and communicate with spirit at the right time for you. Because honestly speaking, in spiritual realm, we do not really have all these constraints of 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. The sun rises, the sun, goes to it's midday, and then the sun goes down and the moon comes up. Abantu abadala, they look at letsatsi, they look at ngwedi. I hope that this video has really helped you, and I hope that you will be able to communicate with your ancestors without feeling pressured to set alarms for 3 o'clock or 12 o'clock or whenever. My name is Gogo Noma. This is Learning with Noma. Like I said, if you have not yet subscribed, please click the subscribe button, like the video if you found the content in this video helpful, and do not forget to share. A lesson learned should be a lesson shared. If you have not yet followed me on other social media platforms, you can follow Learning with Noma on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. TikTok is a place to go because I'm doing a lot of short videos there. I'm trying to upload some of them on YouTube, but remember that the audience is not the same. YouTubers and TikTokers, not the same community, and other people on YouTube don't really take well to those short 1-minute videos. But I do have playlists that I've titled TikTok moments, and you can always check if it's just a moment. It doesn't really need a lesson. I always try to share those there. But follow me on TikTok and do not miss out on anything. Follow on all social media platforms, Learning with Noma. My name is Gogo Noma, and this is Learning with Noma, your home of spiritual learning and healing. This is the classroom, your comprehensive online classroom where we change our lives one lesson at a time. Thank you for joining me. Takazani.